And welcome everybody to a Thursday's edition of the Lightning Market Update Charts of the Day. Great to see you here. Hope you're well. Hope your Thursday has been a good one so far. Let's check out some stuff in terms of what's happening in markets today. Find some charts that look interesting, and of course, answer any questions you have. So, so let's start by popping up this important message. Just to remind you that this is for educational purposes only. Please make sure that you manage risk on every trading action, both entry and exit, consistent with your own personal trading objectives and financial situation. That message being clear, thank you very much for the heads up on the audio and the visual. Hope everything is good. Let's hope it stays that way. And looking forward to popping into what's going to happen next. If we look at what's coming across the news wires today, we saw a positive response overnight on trade talks. Really, we had the Japan tariff sort of finalized as much as it can be, and there's hope that the Eurozone may also get a deal over the table prior to that August the 1st deadline that Trump imposed. Earnings season, of course, is helping. There has been very little data this week of note, but we do have some significant data today. But earnings have kept things going overnight. Obviously, the tech stocks report after the bell, the latest numbers across the wire saw Google beat expectations and are up in after hours trading, and Tesla missing expectations. So that's sort of where everything's at in terms of earnings, but we're still over 80% with the figure I last saw beating expected EPS. So very positive so far. US futures are mixed so far. Obviously, the Nasdaq's doing pretty well on the back of those Google results. Asian markets mixed with the Nikkei outperforming. ASX was near neutral when last I looked. European futures are pointing to a higher open on the back of what happened towards the back end of the US session. I'll have a look at charts of all of these in a moment, of course. We saw the US dollar index dropped as it has done most of the week. Interestingly, gold didn't respond well to that. You would imagine gold would have popped through that record high, but it seems just a little reluctant with there being multiple tests on this over the last few weeks. So just failed to breach it, but again, we'll check out a chart. Copper is still going ballistic, is the technical term, and it broke new record. That tariff-induced rally before that 50% slide to US import from the 1st of August comes into effect. And oil's had a really soft week. It really is just edging low. There's no significant selling going on, but just an acceptance perhaps that right for now, there's no obvious reason to move higher again. Bitcoin is moving higher. It's nearing that 120K record. We'll check in on that in a moment. And on the data front, the major impact today is going to be from global PMI numbers. We get manufacturing and service PMI from most of Asia, the Eurozone, and the US tonight, of course. So let's just check out what happened last night. There is the scores on the doors, if you like. Really crossed the board rally over 69% of the NYC were up. You can see that Nvidia, for example, did very well again. That's a stock we've been covering significantly. And Google's going to bounce on after hours trading. When last I looked, it was around about 6% to the upside. I think Tesla was around 4% down on that close. If we look at the futures, I posted these up just so I didn't have to battle the internet for right now, right here. So these are around about 15 to 20 minutes old. But you can see there the Nasdaq futures are outperforming. European futures looking really positive. A little bit of buying coming into oil, gold, and copper, both flattish. And the yen is outperforming in the FX space. So let's have a look at some charts, shall we? So I'm going to start with copper because it's probably the most exciting. There we go. I'd like to keep you excited. You can see there, this was the tariff-induced rally initially. Then we had that pullback, which we talked about last week. A multi-week test of this level at 548. And then over the last few days, we've seen a significant rise in this up to 584 on the close. You can see we've got some more buying coming into Asia. This has moved over the last hour or so. You can see there the last two 30-minute candles. So pushing hard against this short-term resistance on the 30-minute chart at 584.80. If we should get a breach of that, then it looks as though it's almost a foregone conclusion. We might move up and test 590, so there could be an opportunity there. This stage, we are getting higher lows on all of these little retracements. So despite this profit taking here, we got at the early part of the US session, it does look as though it's got the buy momentum to potentially take it back up. Looking at the indices, let's just put this on a normal template. There we go. And you can see there much the same picture as copper in terms of these higher lows in today's trading. We are actually testing the high from yesterday. I would be watching at this stage for a close over this 23 to 80 level on the 15-minute chart. Just to put this into context, so new record highs hit with the closing of the futures contract. But of course, that was helped by after the bell trading. If we look at the hourly chart, you can see that's the impact of Google in that last hour. So if we get follow through, we'll get a record high again on the Nasdaq. If we look at the US dollar, as I said, looking really sort of shaky. If we've had a really soft week to the downside, you can see there that we have some continued selling throughout the week, potentially coming down to test this low that we last hit in February 2022 at around about 96.20. So just watch that. Maybe the PMI data will have something to say about that, but we shall see. You'd expect gold to be rocking and rolling on that, but you can see there is the latest test, which was the day before yesterday, of that 34.40 level. But we got a sell-off in the US session to bring us back down to around about 33.90. So back beneath that 3400, which is important technically. So possibly a short-term short opportunity here. It looks a bit head and shoulder like on this, maybe more so on the 4-hourly chart. So if we do get a breach of 3385, we could see it come down and retest 3365. So potential short-term opportunity, but at this stage we've had 4 tests over the last 4-hourly candles, even more so if you look at the hourly candles. So it doesn't look as though there's a massive appetite to take it below that. And if we look at oil, just that slight drift down, trading within a range beneath that 200 MA. And finally, in terms of the major asset classes, we've got Bitcoin here, which is, as I said, pushing hard up against this 120,000 level. That's really important technically, but it has been trading within this range for a couple of weeks, so it's going to take something special to push it on through. Worthwhile watching, of course, and there's that line in the sun to keep an eye on. At this stage, it's probably worth sitting on your hands with Bitcoin and waiting to see what happens next. So of the major asset classes, certainly copper's looking interesting. There's the breach over the last 30 minutes. In fact, over the last 5 minutes, there's live and exciting for you. So we've got that move through. 586 looks as though 590's on the cards. And of course, the Nasdaq is also looking very interesting for a retest of 23,280. So those are the major asset classes. Those are the 2 ones that look as though they're doing something soon. Now let's pop into the FX world and have a look at this. Here's the US yen on the back. I'll put it on the 4-hourly chart, but I'll maybe just take it out a little bit. I wanted to show you this level around about 146 that it's tested a few times now. But I'm going to be entirely accurate. I'll just push the line up to there, but you can see how this could be an important level. And if we get a breach of this, although we did get a false move to the downside here, we could see it move down to 145.12. So I would be looking for any move, any close beneath this sort of 145.80 level. And that's a really healthy 60 pips or so. You can see previously, straight up move there, straight up, straight down, all looking very positive there for a move to the downside on the 4-hourly chart. If we bring it in a little bit, you can just see uh, we've just got lower lows on all of these sort of moves to the downside, and we've done it again. So breach looks as though it's on the cards and well worth keeping an eye on. Now, is that yen strength? Well, you can see one of the EAs is opened here. If we look at the Aussie yen on the daily chart, it does look as though it's stuck beneath this level here at around about 96.90. Let's call it 97. So I wouldn't get interested in that at this stage. It is range bound. Between these two levels. If we look at the hourly chart, then we can see here that it is really not looking particularly favorable. Let's just check out on maybe have a look at the Euro USD, which is looking really interesting. We talked about this level yesterday on the inner circle. But you can see there we've stepped up in the back end of the US session and look as though we're testing 117.75. If we pop it on the 4-hourly chart, you can see why that line is there. I don't think this is quite as attractive as the US yen, but you might get interested if it breaches 117.80. You can see we've had 3-week tests of that already today. Oh, sorry, 2-week tests of that today, and during last night, you can see it was resistance here. Popping it onto the hourly chart, that's the level to keep an eye on, and possibly a 30 pip move or so to the upside. You can see that yen strength. If we have a look at the euro yen there, I'll just take it out a bit. But again, technically, it could get stuck within a range. It's been really quite range bound, albeit in a wide range for the last few days. So I'm not sure this doesn't look like as good an opportunity as the others that we've looked at today that look a little more technically clean. Let me just flip this around. There we go. That's getting a little shy, is it? Okay. Let's pop on the GB pound USD, which also looks interesting as with the euro. We're tackling a key level. There it is in all its glory. Last hit on the 11th of July. So around about 12 days ago, 135.87, but doesn't look as though there's much in this. So I'm going to just pop that line on there. So maybe about 30 pips, but I still think the US yen is the one to keep an eye on. I'm going to make that my FX chart of the day. So, okay, that all been done. Let's check out some. I'm just going to change accounts here. Let's check out some ASX stocks. We quite like JBH yesterday for a potential bounce off this support level here, up to maybe back up to 107, but it's looking a bit shaky today. So we're going to leave that alone. You can see Bapcor has dropped 28% today. That's obviously on a report. Mesoblast have been keeping an eye on. There's the boom in Mesoblast yesterday. We talked about through that 200 MA and a follow through today, 253. Currently, it looks as though this could go all the way up to, if we look at this technically, if we do breach this level, any more buying into this could see us up to around about 284. That looks very, very attractive indeed. Let me just flick this to the side. If we look next potentially at Fortescue, some interesting buying coming into Fortescue. um, over the last few days has smashed through that 200 MA. Iron ore stocks look a bit perky, to be honest. And there's the level to keep an eye on with Fortescue that I think is the higher probability entry at around about 1955. You can see there, if we breach this, could be a move up to around about 21 and a half. LYC, I just like this stock. I've been talking about it for some time. We had a breach here. We talked about this when we met on Monday. It continued its way upwards um, through this $10 level. And away we go, 1050. Looking at this on the weekly chart, got to go back an awful long way to see it anywhere near this, all the way back to 2021. The buyers are in, the buyers continue to be in. It looks like we've got to move potentially up to around about 1110. It's around about a 5% move up from where we are now. That's very positive on LYC. And as I said, we've been calling that for some time. A new farm in the fertilizer space. I actually really quite like this chart. Um, you can see here we breached earlier in the week after this massive reversal here. We made our way up to around about this 250 level, breached that on this candle here on the 22nd of July, and we've sort of moved up subsequently. Sorry, 21st of July, moved up subsequently. Massive gap to fill. Whichever way you slice it, you can take that back as far as you want. I like this as a chart. I think it's really positive. So I'm going to make this my chart of the day. New farm for a medium to long term hold, potentially even short term. It's going to got some upside in this, but that's a really positive move on that. And the other one that I wanted to just pop in on is Zipco. I'm just going to pop this on the daily chart. There we go. Make it nice. We like 305. We particularly like this next level to the upside, which is about 325. But we think there's a move up there, a short-term move, which could be really positive. Um, if we breach 307, but then that's a very healthy 7% up to test 325. Obviously, if we breach that, it's a whole new ball game. Potentially a move up to 350 as the next port of call on Zip. So I'll give you two. I'll give you Zipco Limited and New Farm. Also, of course, Mesa Blast could continue to move significantly higher to 384. So you've got a bargain three in today's session. I hope that's good. Right. Okay. Let's just check out some US stocks. Just want to again uh, flick into a couple to have a look at. Now, let's just have a look at Google. Expect after hours trading to be really positive. Good move on GM post earnings. You'll see here just as we pass. I got blasted there. Really nice bounce off the 200 MA. Watch for a breach of 55. But Google, where it's at, I think here's extended hours trading today. It's actually off its high a little bit. But watch $200. It's a really key psychological level for markets at around about there. I think move up. I would actually be waiting potentially to 205. Wouldn't be surprised to see it up there pretty soon. That would be record highs. Google's a good place to be. Google, Microsoft, and Nvidia remain my three favorite tech stocks at the moment. Let's have a look at a couple of those. Nvidia up significantly, and after hours trading, that just keeps on going up and up. And at 172. Now it has paused here for the last few days. I've been calling this as a potential $200 stock for the last within 3 months for the last sort of couple of weeks or so. And you can see there, pause under 172. Really nice potential move to the upside to take the next step. So keep an eye on Nvidia. I'm wondering whether Carnival are worth a look at. Again, would have to check earnings. Let me just check the earnings date for you. Looking at $30 being a key level there. Let me just flick and see if I can find. It's already has it already reported? usually reports a little earlier. Next reporting 29th of September. Interesting. Okay, so that's what it says. So that looks great. So there's my US chart of the day. Carnival over $30, and of course, keep an eye on Nvidia. Just watch earnings dates for all of these stocks. Obviously, Google will be interesting to see after um, after the session tonight in terms of where it gets to. Just watch with all of these Nasdaq stocks with the report after the bell. If you're in the Nasdaq, you could see the big move like we saw last night. If you'd been long this overnight, you would have done very well, of course. And you could well have been long actually on looking at this chart, but this was the last two. This was the last two candles. So just be careful if you are in the Nasdaq futures contract that this market open. Market's still open for an hour after equity market close, and this is usually when tech stocks report. So we get that. In this case, we've got the 0.5% move to the upside. So just some things to keep an eye on there. I hope that's been useful. Um, just a quick. Um, is there anything you want me to have a quick look at? And as you do, of course, if you're not subscribed to the channel, then please do. If you like the video, it'd be fantastic if you could just click a like. That would be wonderful as well. Um, anyway, I think that's probably it for today. Um, just what's coming up. We should see. There'll be another live day Monday. We may see a slight, or there may be a necessity to just to change a couple of dates around next week, just in case I'm on my way over that East Coast neck of the woods to get even colder than I am in Perth. Um, could be doing that towards the back end of the week, but still waiting for confirmation on that. So watch this space in terms of where the streams are, and I look forward to seeing you soon. You guys have a wonderful day. We'll take care of yourself, and we'll see you next time we do. Take care. Bye bye for now.